Good morning, everyone. The previous discussion focused on respiratory infections, which remain a major public health concern in the Philippines. These infections, ranging from pneumonia and tuberculosis to influenza and COVID-19, have significant implications for individuals in the healthcare system. However, respiratory diseases are not the only major health threat to communities. Another significant group of illnesses that greatly impact public health are gastrointestinal infections. These infections, which primarily affect the digestive system, are common in both urban and rural areas and can lead to severe complications if left untreated. Hence, understanding the causes, symptoms, prevention, and management of gastrointestinal infections is crucial in mitigating their impact on public health. So, what are gastrointestinal infections? These are diseases that affect the digestive system, as mentioned earlier, usually caused by bacteria and viruses or even parasites. These infections are commonly transmitted through contaminated food, water, or poor hygiene practices. So people suffering from gastrointestinal infections often experience symptoms such as diarrhea, vomiting, or pagsuka. Ang diarrhea na ang daw commonly known naton is ang lupot na, abdominal pain, and even fever. So if not properly managed, these infections can lead to dehydration and malnutrition, particularly in vulnerable populations like children, the elderly, and immunocompromised individuals. So these gastrointestinal infections, in other words, are a significant public health issue in many communities here in the Philippines, particularly in areas with limited access to clean water, sanitation, and healthcare. Now, let's delve deeper onto these gastrointestinal infections and look through some of its key aspects. So, one of the primary causes of gastrointestinal infections is bacterial contamination. Remember, several bacteria are known to cause several severe infections, including Salmonella, Escherichia coli or E. coli, Vibrio cholera, and Shigella. These Salmonella infections are commonly linked to undercooked poultry, eggs, and unpasteurized dairy products. Symptoms could include severe diarrhea, grabe nga lupot, fever, and even abdominal cramps. Next is Escherichia coli or E. coli. Especially strains like E. coli can cause food poisoning, leading to severe abdominal pain and even bloody diarrhea. These often come from unclean drinking water or poorly handled food. So, ang munahang balila can cause food poisoning. Next is Vibrio cholerae, the bacterium responsible for cholera, spreads through contaminated water or food, leading to profuse watery diarrhea and even dehydration. So, these outbreaks of cholera are especially happening after floods or even in overcrowded settings. Next, we have Shigella, often spread through poor sanitation, cause shigellosis, which is a disease characterized by fever, stomach cramps, and even bloody diarrhea. So here are some of the most common bacterial infections that you can get out of it. Next, we have also viral infections. Viral infections are another major contributor to gastrointestinal illnesses. Rotavirus and norovirus are among the most common viral agents that cause severe diarrhea, especially in young children. So what are these rotavirus? So rotavirus is a leading cause of severe gastroenteritis in infants and young children, often resulting in dehydration and hospitalization. On the other hand, norovirus, commonly referred to as the stomach flu, spreads rapidly through contaminated food, water, and close contact with infected individuals. It causes sudden onset nausea or pagsusuka, even vomiting and diarrhea, making it a major concern in settings such as in schools, hospitals, and even in cruise ships. Next are parasitic infections, which also pose insignificant health risks, particularly in areas with poor sanitation and unsafe drinking water. First on the list is Giardia lamblia, a common parasite that causes giardiasis, an infection characterized by watery diarrhea. So amo ni siya gali ang naga-cause sang watery naton nga diarrhea, no? Bloating and even stomach cramps. We have Entamoeba histolytica, which is responsible for amoebiasis, which can lead to severe diarrhea, bloody stools, and in some cases, liver abscesses. Additionally, helminths such as ascaris, hookworms, and other parasitic worms can cause malnutrition, intestinal blockages, and anemia, particularly in children living in impoverished communities. Now let's proceed to foodborne and waterborne illnesses, which are closely linked to gastrointestinal infections. Poor food handling, inadequate sanitation, and consumption of contaminated water sources contribute to widespread infections. Many cases of diarrhea and even food poisoning can be traced back to improper food storage, unclean cooking practices, and contaminated drinking water. Now that we have looked through some of the aspects of gastrointestinal infections, now let's proceed to its risk factors. Several risk factors increase the likelihood of developing these gastrointestinal infections, and we're going to delve onto it one by one. Let's begin with environmental conditions. So, this includes poor sanitation, inadequate water disposal, and even unsafe drinking water, which contribute significantly to the spread of infections. So, frequent flooding also contaminates water sources. So, hindi pwede ang ato na nga aside from that, ang ato na nga pangpupita sa outside, it could also lead to um, ano na, spread of contaminated infections such as E. coli. Okay? Amo na ang diri sa City Subong, water here from the tap isn't really considered potable or drinkable because there are researchers that have found through the research that it has high levels of Escherichia coli, which is one of the main causes that could lead to gastrointestinal infections. Now let's proceed to socio-economic factors. Another risk factor, this includes poverty o kapigaduhon, lack of access to healthcare, further exacerbate the problem, making it difficult for affected individuals to receive timely medical intervention. Of course, balaan nyo naman, tanan nga hulag naton subong gakinanglan kwarta, kung pigado, gapangabudlay. So of course, maghambal na lang sila bisan lain matsyag nila, gasakit siya nila. Sige lang nilang anay sang amuni because they are really thinking about where should they find this money to pay for the medical bills in the hospital. So amugid na one of the factors, socio-economic factors. Remember, malnutrition weakens the immune system. Now, and lastly, we have the behavioral practices such as inadequate hand washing. Of course, kung balaan mo naman, permi ka tagakaon 3 times a day, iban more than 3 times a day. If you are not frequently washing your hands of course, that could lead you to you can intake viral um, viruses, bacteria, and fungi, and even parasites that causes you that particular intestinal infection. So that's why it is always recommended that before you eat your meal, you always have to wash your hands with soap and water, so as not to contaminate your food with the bacteria or other pathogens present in the environment or in the surrounding. Improper food handling. Okay, basi, wala mo ginhandle mayo imo food, dira mo bilin-bilin mo lang sa sagwa. Dapat, it must be taken immediately right after cooking. Tigin pa buhayan mo pa ya sa sagwa, you left it for 5 hours, and then way kakabalo nagamat-amat na sa gali spoil. So that could lead to gastrointestinal infections. Lack of personal hygiene also play a crucial role in the transmission of these infections. Another is consumption of raw and undercooked food. So especially nabla sa mga Japanese people, no, wherein they are very gusto gid nila magkaon sa mga raw and undercooked food. So very common ina sila sa mga gastrointestinal infections kay nga wala na hugasan mayo, way panaluto ang mga bacteria and viruses nga ara na dira nga daan sa pagkaon, wala nila naluto mayo, it will not die. So when ingested by the person, if may ara to sa mga eggs, sa mga parasites na to, magsulod sa lawas mo, and of course, leading to gastrointestinal infections. So please take note of these various factors, risk factors, and as much as possible, you yourself, please practice proper handling of food, frequent washing of hands, and other practices that could make you avoid being at risk of acquiring those gastrointestinal diseases. Now, the symptoms of gastrointestinal infections vary depending on the causative agents, but typically include diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, cramping, fever, or dehydration. In severe cases, prolonged diarrhea and vomiting can lead to significant fluid loss. So, here are some of the symptoms. Again, diarrhea, watery or bloody. Kung may ara na gani nga dugat tubig-tubig na ang imo nga poops, do may presence of blood na, so that may indicate that there is already a gastrointestinal infection happening in your body. Next, nausea and vomiting, kuno nagasuka-suka ka na da, so another way of determining nga ang imo nga lawas ang ano na, ay, there's something wrong in my stomach, so I have to let it out. So that's why gasuka ikaw. Abdominal pain and cramping, fever, dehydration. Now, remember, preventing gastrointestinal infection requires a combination of personal, community, and governmental efforts. So, what are the ways for us to prevent acquiring gastrointestinal infections? One is, of course, improved hygiene. First and foremost, so dapat regular hand washing with soap and water, proper disposal of human waste. So, dira lang bala sa may toilet bowl magpoops bala, hindi lang bala sa mga duta-duta na dira or sa kilid-kilid, sa likod-likod. As much as possible, look for a proper disposing waste. Even ang sa ano na, kung alang-alang na gid pangita gid sa CR, bisan nagabiyahe ka, may mga Jollibee nga malapit, even ang mga ano, dira lang sulod sang CR dira, and then there you go. So remember, regular hand washing with soap and water significantly reduces the risk of infection. Next is safe drinking water. So access to safe drinking water is also essential, and efforts should be made to provide clean water sources and promote water purification methods. So, boiling or treating water before use is recommended, and as well as purifying those waters. Next is food safety practices. This includes proper cooking, proper food storage. Kung ang amo na nga particular food could easily spoil when put at room temperature, butang mo man sa ref. So properly store that food. Help minimize contamination risk by avoiding street food in unsanitary areas. I think 2018, there were group of researchers who actually looked through sa mga sauces na dabla sa mga street food sa Sagwa. And then they were checking ang iya na bala nga mga bacteria nga ara dira. And they have found out that most of the street food nga ari diri naton, ang mga sauce nila dira nga ginadipan sang inyo na ang mga fishball, mga tempura, and so on and so forth, are actually very high in what do you call that, very high in bacteria that may lead to food poisoning. So that's why kamo halong-halong kamo, as much as possible, avoid eating food avoid eating street food, instead of to eating more healthy, nutritious food and drinks that you have. So yeah, instead of drinking juices, opt for more healthier one, which is water. Next is vaccination. Vaccination against certain gastrointestinal infections such as rotavirus and cholera has proven effective in reducing disease burden. So, as much as possible, pa-vaccine gid mga kabataan, and even those high-risk populations, diin bala ang mga high-risk populations, usually mga crowded areas, ang sa mga, sorry for the word, ang ato na mga squatters area nga lapitan na gid ang balay, tapos ang iban ara pa dira near the bodies of water. Next, we have community programs aimed at improving sanitation, waste management, and public awareness further contribute to preventing the spread of these infections. So good thing that there are public health campaigns or hygiene sanitations tudlo sa aton proper way of handling food so that we could avoid gastrointestinal infections. I am certain that these kinds of programs actually happen even in schools, because as I recall years back when I was still teaching in one of the private schools here in Iloilo, there were health staff who came into the school and actually gave a lecture about properly handling food and getting away from gastrointestinal infections. So this is very good. Another is provision of clean water and better waste management. So to prevent waste management, I could recall as well when I went to Boracay, one of the hotels there where I stayed at actually provided a signage in the sink. Water in the sink is not potable. So that very simple instruction saying that it is not potable is really good way of preventing these gastrointestinal infections, because if those people would see that signage, okay, they would say, okay, hindi tagali mag-inom sa amo na nga tubig kay hindi na siya potable, so instead mabakal na lang kita mga bottled water, like that. Because kung wala na iya sang mga signage nga na, kids in particular, even us, kung wala kita may makita nga tubig sa may room, siguro basi makuha ka tada sa may faucet dira sa may sink. See, if you're gonna do that, you would be at risk to gastrointestinal diseases, especially if it is not potable. So good thing for those community programs or programs that are even put and being implemented in every establishment All right. Now, how do we manage these gastrointestinal infections, especially if ever, although wala ta ginapangayo pero ara na, experiensyahan na naton. So, managing gastrointestinal infections involves prompt, dapat dasig, and appropriate treatment. So, the first thing that you could do is rehydrate yourself. Of course, kung gastrointestinal infections, one of the symptoms gani ang ginahambal naton kang gina, watery diarrhea, ginalupot ka, gagwa sang fluid imulawas. So, kinanglan sa lawas mo nga i-rehydrate. So, we can do that by having oral rehydration solutions or ORS because this is very vital in preventing dehydration. So may ara na yasang I don't know, I forgot to take note of it. Sa YouTube na may ara na kung how to make your own DIY ORS. So it's just a 1 liter of water and I think you add their electrolytes, could be salt and a little bit of sugar and I think lemon. Yeah. So just as simple as that, you're already preparing an ORS which is essential to combat dehydration. Instead of buying expensive Gatorades, no, you can do that instead. Next is in cases of bacterial and parasitic infections, antibiotics and antiparasitic drugs may be necessary. Next, nutritional support is also crucial as prolonged illness can lead to malnutrition, especially in children. So, kung nagalulupot ka da, so kinanglan mo yung more nutrient intake in your body. So, pwede ka da kagwa zinc supplements to reduce severity and duration of diarrhea and even eat more nutritious foods such as fruits and vegetables. And ensuring healthcare accessibility is also essential to providing timely and effective treatment, particularly in remote or impoverished areas. So these are ways for you to manage if ever you are already having or experiencing any type of gastrointestinal infections. Now, let's proceed. The Philippines faces several changes in addressing gastrointestinal infections, one of which is ang urban and rural disparities naton. So these disparities create inequalities in healthcare access. Whether we like it or not, ara ginaiya. Kung mga manggaranon kaya, or lapit ka sa city, lapit ka sa mga hospitals, imo access to proper healthcare infrastructure ara gid. Pero kung ara ka sa mga rural areas, mga provinces, no kabudlay it takes you minutes or even hours, especially kung halin ka pa sa babaw bukid kabudlay sa aton magpalapit sa aton nga mga health centers and sa mga hospitals. So those are one of the challenges, you know. Next are another rural areas as well, which often lack basic sanitation facilities and water sources. Amo na gani hambal ko sa inyo, mga malayo bala nga lugar away from the city. Those are its difficulties. Next are natural disasters such as typhoons and floods exacerbate the problem by contaminating water supplies and displacing communities, increasing the risk of outbreaks. Next is our healthcare accessibility. Overburdened healthcare systems in some areas limit timely response. Balaan nyo naman na, kung overcrowded, damo-damo na. Yawan man ang aton nga mga healthcare practitioners to manage them. Aside from that, limited resources and infrastructure make it difficult for many individuals to receive proper medical attention. That's why ang iban, ang amuning sakit niya, hindi umulong kay hindi kaya sang ilang locality, kinanglan pa dito sa Manila, bulngon, or kung di gani dito pa outside the country or in other foreign countries due to lack of infrastructure. So those are the challenges that we have here in the Philippines, and we just hope for the best. Hopefully, we can address these issues. The government could gradually address these issues because health concern is a national concern and they should be addressed promptly. So, in conclusion, gastrointestinal infections remain a significant public health issue in the Philippines, and understanding their causes, symptoms, prevention, and treatment is extremely crucial in mitigating their impact on communities. By addressing risk factors, promoting hygiene and sanitation, and ensuring access to healthcare, the burden of gastrointestinal infections can be significantly reduced, leading to healthier communities and improved public health outcomes. So, this is now the end of the presentation, and hopefully, you have learned something about gastrointestinal infections. Later, again, I will be sending another video presentation, which is still part of Unit 2 about diseases in the community. So please keep updated and I will just send it right after. Thank you so much and have a good day, everyone.